Dire team ban.
And we're back for game number 2 of this best of 3. LGD Gaming International taking on Vici Gaming. And yeah, game 1, not exactly one to write home about if you're Vici Gaming. LGD came out swinging, was actually under the gun quite considerably, and seemingly outmatched in at least 2 lanes. They had a Bounty Hunter up against a Lone Druid, as well as a tri-lane composed of Nature's Prophet, plus a Lifestealer and a Leshrac, which essentially made it a 2-on-3 for all intents and purposes, up against a very potent tri-lane coming out of Vici Gaming, composed of Shadow Demon, the Jakiro, as well as Juggernaut. And they just weathered the storm in beautiful fashion. Their movement, their ability to, their decision-making more so than anything. Misery in particular, contributing what he could to help out the Lifestealer and the Leshrac in bottom. But for the most part, they played safe. Lifestealer was able to rely on his rage to get him out of trouble whenever they did try to engage. And Misery bouncing to top lane to help out the Bounty Hunter, getting a couple of kills on the Lone Druid, taking him off the board and setting him irreparably far behind. Jumping right back into the action here, though, Vici going to look to turn that bagel into a breadstick, try to force a Game 3. LGD, though, they're sniffing Phase 3 here in Phase 2 of the G-1 Champions League Asia Qualifiers. Bad Rider Lifestealer taken out by LGD. Don't want to give away the Nakes to the other team this time around. Nyx, Assassin, and Magnus banned out by Vici Gaming. So, Keeper of the Light, Queen of Pain, Clockwork, 3 very quick pickups from Vici Gaming. Got to say, it's one of the quicker drafts I've seen, one of the more deliberate drafts I've seen here in Phase 2. Teams tend to talk things over. This time around, though, squandering no time whatsoever and looking to get into the action. And LGD able to pick up their favorite Lone Druid. They love to run that hero, run him with great skill. Leshrac, Shadow Demon, 2 of the most synergistic. I'm pretty sure that's a word. I'm going to guess. Yeah. If it wasn't before, it is now. Okay, so Leshrac, Shadow Demon work extremely well in a variety of situations. Doesn't matter if it's an offensive or defensive tri-lane, the ability to follow up any disruption with a well-placed Split Earth, even at level 1. And to tell you the truth, the way that helps Leshrac out in a lot of ways is he can actually just put 1 point into Split Earth and be quite happy to make that a 1-point wonder for a lot longer than he might be willing to otherwise. That allows him to focus on more of a damage build if he wants to. He can go more points into Edict, he can go more points into Lightning, and allow him to be just that much of more of a pushing force and that much more of a team fight force, just because he doesn't really need the extra radius on his Split Earth, given he can always time it up right off of the Shadow Demon. Keeper of the Light, Queen of Pain, Clockwork. Think they like magic damage on the side of Vici Gaming? That's going to be the big watchword for them coming into the later stages of the early game and on into the mid game. Queen of Pain going to look to be mobile. Keeper of the Light going to try and keep him off the towers, maybe do a little pushing on his own, but it's the reach, really, of all 3 of those heroes that is worth talking about. Clockwork with his ultimate, his ability to hit a hook from basically the well. I mean, if you've ever seen a max range Clockwork hook ever connect, it's literally bigger than the screen, and that's if you're running 1080p, and you have it zoomed back 50%. It's just absolutely massive. Queen of Pain with her inherent mobility and Keeper of the Light's ability to bring anyone to his side once he hits level 6, make this a very mobile team that's going to be able to try to pick apart a team that so far from LGD is much more static. Now, taking a look at the heroes available to LGD, if they want to pick up I was actually going to say Rubik would be a good pickup for them if he survives. He did survive the ban phase, but Vici going to take him right out from under him. And Rubik's a really cool character to watch, really cool hero, I should say, not character. This isn't Disney. Really cool hero to watch work with the Clockwork and the Keeper of the Light in particular. Now, there's already a lot of potential on all of these heroes. Clockwork, if he's able to get 1 or preferably, obviously, 2 or 3 heroes with a nice set of cogs, Rubik can telekinesis another hero right into those cogs. And that'll set things up perfectly for the gigantic burst potential in an AoE that can come out of a Keeper of the Light and Queen of Pain. And they're going to grab themselves a nice late-game safety belt with the Phantom Lancer as well. LGD answers with a Gyrocopter, now looking to pick up their 5th pick. And AoE, certainly going to be on the menu for them as well. More so than anything, though, LGD is going to be looking to isolate heroes. They have a team that early on in the game, 10 to 20 minutes in, and so on and so forth, they really want to try to take smaller skirmishes instead of big 5-on-5. Druid needs the map opened up for him a little bit to either split push towers or to just safely get his farm. But at the same time, the ability for Shadow Demon, Leshrac, and Gyrocopter to fight and fight early is very much available to them. They're going to have no problem looking to take on just about any other 3 heroes at the early stages and probably have a chance of coming out ahead. Puck will be the final pickup. That should be their mid. Now, the only question that really exists is what LGD wants to do with that Lone Druid. Again, a Druid craves a solo lane. He should be solo safe in this situation. A very potent tri-lane, offensive tri-lane coming out from LGD. And let me go ahead and make sure, okay. Yeah, I want to see if they were going to remake or not.
Prepare for
And it looks like we may have to remake from all pick. But that's okay if we have to. Certainly don't want to leave Luminous behind. Casting over on the other channel, we will have a remake. So sorry for the brief delay, guys. We'll be right back. Game number 2 of this best of 3 heading your way in just a moment. Stick with us. And we're back after a brief remake. One of my colleagues dragging his butt. Unfortunately, unable to connect as he had a server issue, but we are good to go now. So, game 2 of this best of 3, LGD International taking on Vici Gaming, and in a 16-minute rout, LGD earned themselves a 1-0 lead in this best of 3. So, Vici Gaming down to midnight hours, win or go home for them, as it always is actually here in the phase 2 of the Asia qualifiers. LGD looking to get off to a good start once again. They're going to be using our friendly little panda bear as a little bit of bait, I do suspect. Oh, this has potential to go very badly for everyone. Oh, there's FY. He's actually going to spot them. He actually saw them. Very lucky he spotted them when he did. And LGD going to get an aggressive ward down. It does seem they'll be offensively tri-laning as anticipated. Pycat handling our lone druid will be setting up shop solo top. Looking to have a bit of a better time of it than Lone Druid did last time around. At LGD, dropping wards of their own, trying to keep an eye here from VG. But the command performance in game number 1 from LGD International, I mean, it's hard to point to anything that went wrong really for them. I mean, it was just an absolute barnstorming. It was really just one of the more impressive dismantlings of a team's composition I've ever seen. Everyone played well, but for the most part, I feel like Misery as well as God in particular really deserve a lot of the credit. I mean, Santiago is going to be running the same hero that God did in game 1. He's going to be handling the Queen of Pain, but he just absolutely dominated mid lane. I mean, it's one thing for a Queen of Pain to do well in mid against a Beastmaster, but to do that well is something else entirely. Just an unbelievably solid performance, and one that anyone who wants to learn Queen of Pain should probably take the time to watch via the very moderately priced the G-1 League ticket, including all of the games you see here in the phase 1, 2, and 3. But enough plugging. Let's take a look at our lane, see who's going to be handling who. I'll try to run through the lineups as quickly as I can, starting with our Phantom Lancer. And it's going to be CTY, the #1 and the rising star on the side of Vici Gaming. Again, a player who won a very prestigious 1 versus 1 tournament, including names like Ferrari 430, Siler, etc. So a player that really everyone should be watching. We're going to have our Clockwork Goblin taken to the long lane by XTT. Queen of Pain, as mentioned, handled by Santiago, who just got dominated in this matchup against God last time. However, he will have the Queen of Pain under his own command this time around. Keeper of the Light will be handled by Fenrir. And we'll have our Rubik, played by FY on the other side of the river. 1437, who walked between the raindrops pretty frequently in game 1. Got away more than a couple of times when he should have been dead to rights in game 1. This time, though, he's going to be on Shadow Demon instead of the Leshrac. The Leshrac this time handled by one of my MVPs from game number 1. That's Misery, handling our Shiny Unicorn. Puck, again, taken mid by God. Another one of my MVPs from game number 1. Brax will be farming up our Gyrocopter. He played a solid game as well in game 1, handling our Bounty Hunter, but with Pycat on the Lone Druid this time around. Not going to have a lane all to himself. Going to have to share his toys and play here in the offensive tri-lane. Taking an early look at the last hits. The Lone Druid about where you would expect him to be against the Clockwork. He's sitting on top with 11. 11 last hits at 2 minutes is damn good. And I do mean damn good. And LGD playing some chest out Dota. Here we go. We're going to have a disruption. Soul Catchers. Oh, great splitter to follow it up. Didn't miss a beat. Now, Rocket Barrage doing the damage they need. First Blood will actually go to Fenrir. They go 1 for 1, but the First Blood from the Illuminate a little too quick. Split Earth gonna miss. They might trade 3 here. Oh, little bit of a misstep from LGD, and VG happy to capitalize. Yep, Spirit Lance. That's it. A total turnaround. An absolute disaster. And Vici Gaming bouncing back in a big way early on here in game number 2. Not going to be bullied this time around. And Fenrir pulled the trigger on his Illuminate just in time to get the First Blood. 3-1, 4 kills on the board 3 minutes in. And now this lane got a lot more scary for LGD. You end up giving away a couple of kills like that. We're going to see a disruption. And they are going to follow it up and catch him. Can they isolate him? Rocket Barrage! 1 auto attack more than enough to get that done. Illuminate will connect, but just level 1 Illuminate not doing the damage he really needs right now. Opted to put 2 points in the chakra to help his entire lane out, help the Phantom Lancer spam a bit. And Rubik nowhere near that fight to help out. Edict going to be used. And yeah, this is what I was talking about during the draft. One of the awesome things about running a Leshrac along with a Oh, Brack's going to take some damage from the Spirit Lance. Doesn't look like they're going to engage off of that. One of the awesome things about running a Leshrac with a Shadow Demon is it's so easy to hit the splitters you need that you can just put 1 point into it and just let it sit there and instead max out things like Edict and Lightning, just to give you that much more kill potential in a lane like this. We'll see. I mean, and a lot of players still opt to go ahead and pick up more points in the splitter if the damage does go up with it. It just depends on what you want to do, but we already see 2 points in the Edict, so looking to be in pretty good shape. Down here in mid, God having a good go of it. He's sitting at 19 to 18, and really that's, I mean, Puck is going to do okay since Puck's most recent buff, and it's been a while now. But Puck has become a hero that can hold his own one-on-one even against a strong solo lane hero like a Queen of Pain. He's got pretty decent base damage, and he's just real hard to kill because of Orb, Ethereal Jaunt, and his ability to phase shift. 1437 needs the Spirit Lance, going to use the disruption, but Rubik's there to bring him back, throws him backwards. He's got help though, and the Split Earth will show up. It's a day late, $1 short. They add another kill to their total. VG now doubling up their opponents 4-2, and this offensive trial lane not necessarily going as well as LGD had wanted. Gyrocopter at 17 last hits. He is trumping the Phantom Lancer in a big way. So all things told, actually Queen of Pain gets a kill on mid. Very risky, didn't see it happen. But see, he came out with very little health. But that's a big kill for him. Being able to take Puck off the map is going to make him a little less aggressive in terms of challenging for runes. A little less aggressive if he wants to participate in ganks. And he's a hero who is not going to struggle just because he dies once. But it's certainly not the situation you want to be in, especially when you're talking a high-value hero like Queen of Pain who's off to a good start. You do not wanting her getting any extra gold or levels. Do not wanting her that much closer to a BKB, Scythe of Ice, or whatever else she wants to add to her inventory. Up at top, it's relatively quiet. I flashed up here a couple of times, so not a whole lot to report. Looks like Midas might be the choice. Could just be going Shreds, though. We don't know. But he does have a Glove of Haste. So Pycat may be looking to scale to the late game. In the meantime, the one real good thing that LGD has going right now is the fact that Brax is just utterly outclassing the Phantom Lancer in last hits. He's sitting at 20 to the 12 of Phantom Lancer. And Phantom Lancer just now really making up a lot of that ground. He was behind quite a bit, but we can already see the posturing of LGD beginning to get very, very defensive. And yeah, Spirit Lance, a lot of points into it so far. He's already got, I'm gonna guess he's got 3 actually. I thought maybe he had 2, but 3 already in. And God taking a little bit of attack, and yeah, he's just going to swing away. The coil's there. He phase shifts out and feeds a death. That's really the only way to put that. He had no reason to stand and just take that damage. That was just not a good engagement, flat out. So the dominant force that was G in game 1 being dominated and shoved around in mid here in game 2. Again, the hero does have some leeway. He wants items like a Blink Dagger, certainly wants some Arc Boots, and so on. But he can get by without them and still be of use to his team because of the reach that Ethereal Jaunt gives him. But, so far, a complete turnaround from game 1. This early laning phase going very heavily the way of Vici Gaming. Taking a look at our early gold, we can see it's actually pretty close to even. The experience, though, is in favor of Vici. But the fact that LGD is doing such a good job in keeping the gold close is due to this guy right here primarily. Sitting well on top of the board, sitting at 37. And even though, I'll tell you, this is what surprises me. That's twice that God's died now. And he's actually tied with the Queen of Pain in last hits. So he's doing a good job in terms of mechanics, even if his decision-making is maybe a little suspect. But Santiago, now under cover of smoke, looking to make this a very unhappy bear.
Middle tower is under attack.
And let's see if he's going to be able to execute. Sonic Wave is down, and he's actually going to get a root on the Clockwork. And now little Rocket Flare spam. Here we go. Jumps in, Scream of Pain, Shadow Strike as well. There's the hook. Here comes the TP reaction. The Bear's laying into Santiago. 2 tanky, and now the Split Earth does come up short. Misery not quite on par with that. Has to be careful, taking a lot of right-click damage. One more shot. No, he's tangoed up. Oh, he barely survives. There's the root! Oh, Santiago! Lamenting his luck. In the meantime, we have a dive on bottom. Vici gets a return kill, makes it 1-for-1. Shadow Demon traded for Queen of Pain. They're not done, though. God shows up, pouring it on and taking Clockwork Goblin off the map one more time. Pycat, the big winner there, staying alive, getting the assist gold. 8.5 minutes in, and Vici is swinging away. But rolling with the punches, LGD International keeping it close. 51 last hits on our Lone Druid at just 8.5 minutes in. And he's been a part of some engagements already.
Bottom tower.
God showing the movement that gave him such a dominant
Middle tower is
presence on the map in game 1. Has struggled a bit one-on-one with Queen of Pain, but in the right place at the right time mere moments ago. And things beginning to stabilize out. But Vici Gaming did take that bottom tier 1. So they take first blood in towers and in kills both. And now a little bit of pressure being applied to God once again. He will be forced back out. The gold swinging in Vici's favor, but only marginally. 1437 gonna be the latest victim. Maybe, no, he's gonna be able to force back, and this is a big TP reaction. Brax is there using flat cannon. Are they gonna pursue this out? No, they are gonna play it safe. Probably the right call to make there. And that is a very happy 1437. I'll tell you what, man. We're gonna start calling him Unbreakable. And those who know that movie, an underrated Bruce Willis movie, if I do say so myself, will get that reference. In game 1 and game 2, the guy has just not died. He has been able to keep himself breathing. He's like William Shatner, man. He just never dies. William Shatner's like 85,000 years old. He was like 30,000 years old when he did the original Star Trek. And that's 1437. Yes, so basically what I'm saying is 1437 is William Shatner. And I'm pretty sure that's some high-level analysis, so make sure you post that to Reddit. Anyway, 7-4. And good split earth gonna catch San Diego here. And the silence gonna lock him down. Edict doing good damage. He is able to blink away though. No, the coil catches him at max range. Sonic Wave gonna be spent. San Diego likely to be traded for Leshrac, but Misery doing his best 1437 impression keeps himself alive against all odds. And now, the return kills beginning to mount for LGD. Eking their way back into this. Not to say they were far out, but yeah, that gold, which was not that much in the favor of Vici, already cut in half from 1,000 to 500. The experience is actually considerably in the favor of the international squad of LGD. And Brax now kind of caught thumb in his butt. And yeah, this should just be... He just had no real reason to be there. God's got eyes on him. All three. He's got a coil in 39 seconds. No one to help him, though. He's still under cover of an invis room for another few seconds, so safe to continue looking. Pycat, in the meantime, pressuring that tier 1 top has brought it down to about a quarter health. Drum's going to be the pickup. I really like this build so far coming out of our Phantom Lancer. He's going to end up getting up his Tranks plus a set of drums, and most likely, I mean, he's already got a Bassi, so he may just hang on to that, but he may end up turning into an Aqualay. But this is a very stable build. I love it. When it, oh, hang on, we're going to have a disruption on Queen of Pain. God is there. Silence is going to be... didn't even need it. Oh, Misery. That's the kind of thing that makes a Dota fan moist. That was time to the millisecond. To the millisecond. Didn't even need the silence. Because Misery hit such a good split earth. In the meantime, Vici Gaming is going to teleport 2 to try and bail out mid-tower. That's going to leave the Druid alone up at top, at least momentarily. He has gone phase boots, and now has 2 gloves of haste. Possibly on his way to a Maelstrom plus a Midas. And, I mean, really, why else would you have him? I guess he could finish it into treads if he wants to. We'll see. But anyway, back to Brax, who did a good job of keeping up, actually keeping a lead on Phantom Lancer. That's no longer the case. He's being bullied around quite a bit now. FY going to be spotted out. 1437's got a bead on him. Can he catch him? Nope. Ducks back, throws out the Shadow Poison just for a little bit of vision. But they're able to retreat safely before any major reaction can come. Fenrir now turning his attention to mid. Good dodge by God. 8-6. A game already very exciting. 14 kills on the board. We're just short of 13 minutes in. And the question becomes is is Pycat going to abandon this lane, or is he just going to stay here in free farm and look for a late game kind of a presence? The ability for LGD to pour pressure on CTY is going to be there. They have plenty of abilities that are going to set him up for kills if they can spot him out and get into position. We can see that's going to be the goal right now. Brax TP's in. Here comes 1437. Can he get the disruption? He does get off the demonic purge. There we go. Sentry goes down. They've got vision. Call down going to be spent just to make sure it happens. And if they can keep doing that and just letting this guy farm, just letting Pycat chop wood here in top lane, they're going to be in beautiful position. I'm actually surprised they went for that and didn't bring Puck. Puck's ability to silence out a Phantom Lancer and just negate Doppelwalk entirely one of the better features that hero is going to bring to a gank squad in terms of trying to lock down 3 of the heroes on Vici, being Phantom Lancer, Queen of Pain, and the Clockwork. He works remarkably well against all of them. Even against Keeper of the Light, his ability to silence him out of being able to use Blinding Light, very important. But we are going to have a pause. This gives me a moment to remind you to check out G1.2p.com, our coverage hub for the G1 Champions League. You can find your caster hub there. You can choose your weapon. Choose between me here on One More Game TV2. Someday I may have a co-caster. I've actually solo broadcasted the entire first phase. But if the times are ever a bit more available for a lot of my English and European friends in the casting colleagues, I should say, that they'll actually get their butts out of bed, maybe I'll have one. So you can tune in and catch me here, and this is the conclusion of Phase 2, or the last day of Phase 2. We actually have one more match today. Or you can check out Beyond the Summit, or if you're a Russian speaker, check out our Russian casting squad. Got great coverage, articles, interviews, all that fun stuff. Hang on, Hook going to come up short. But make sure you check out G1.2p.com. Interact with us in real time on Twitter as well. In between matches, in between games. We'll be there, ready to chat with you guys, because you guys are the ones we love the most. 8-7, LGD has closed that gap. They've actually turned the gold around. It's not a gigantic lead, mind you, but the fact they've turned it around at all is pretty impressive. The experience continuing to arc in their direction. Brax is still struggling a bit. Again, he's fallen off just hardcore. He's being pursued out by Phantom Lancer. And yeah, he's actually just going to double back, giving him the old okie doke. And finally going to eat himself a Spirit Lance. Here comes 1437, though, but FYFY spots him out. Brax may get away, but there's a silence as well that was stolen by Rubik from Puck, and they're able to secure the kill there. Rocket Flare, donk. Doesn't show them anything they don't already know. In the meantime, PyCap has destroyed a tower. As has, that tower's down for a while, but Misery has destroyed the tower, I should say. And Misery off to a pretty solid start, taking a look at where we are kill assist-wise, 4-2 on our Phantom Lancer. So CTY going to be quite happy with the way things have worked out, given he was under a considerable amount of pressure early on in this game. 3-4 on our Shadow Demon, dying as often as he's killing, but still. 2-0 on the Keeper of the Light, who's played pretty well. That's worth saying, I do believe, that Fenrir, I feel, has made plays when he needed to. Keeper of the Light, not known as the biggest playmaker hero in the world, but when you're able to line up the perfect Illuminate, it really can be the difference between a win and a loss in a lot of cases. In terms of pure gold, though, only one guy worth keeping an eye on, and that is PyCat. He actually went for an armlet on the bear. And not the oddest thing in history. Seen it a number of times, just haven't seen it in a while. Because of the way armlet works, you can just simply put it on the bear and leave it turned on permanently. I've seen LGD do this before. Now Hook's going to catch God. And here we go, Split Earth, but the silence is there. Disruption as well. Here comes Queen of Pain going to engage. They're in a bad situation. Sonic Wave caught two. They're both still standing. Now Misery's back ready to engage. Misery moves out. Split Earth all dodged beautifully by Santiago. Santiago will be traded for the shiny unicorn, though. And now LGD comes out 1-3 winners there. This is what is the most impressive thing about watching a good team play Dota. And they will be able to clean him up. Wow. They just blew him up, basically. That's the Blink Dagger done for God. That was a fight full of great plays. But at no point did LGD seem to be winning that fight. And then you look up, and all of a sudden it's 1-3. And William Shatner, once again, living up to his name, 1437. Just never dies, man. Never going to die. He's immortal. 10-11, they've taken the kill lead for the very first time in this game. They're going to take themselves a Tier 1 bottom at the same time. Brax a part of that. Happy to contribute, giving PyCat the last hit, though. Diffusal Blade going to be brought out now. And CTY has made me happy. I honestly... I say this all the time. I hate seeing a Radiance build on a Phantom Lancer. I feel like it's such a waste of his potential. Because even with just a Diffusal, he's a huge liability. And to have that item up in 20 minutes along with some items to tank him up, like drums, like an Aqualay. Up atop, Santiago. Gonna be caught out, but manages to escape. But yeah. Having that up, an excellent choice. I would imagine we're gonna see a Maelstrom now come out for PyCat. Still has the casual Glove of Haste. Hanging out in his inventory. Mech should be complete on Fenrir before long. And... yep. Buckler's done, so he's not too far away. A lot more movement on the map. And this is exactly what LGD wants to do, especially with, yep, Maelstrom is complete on Pycat now. So, he's certainly ready to push. And this is one of my more... I love watching this build on a Druid because it means you're not going to have downtime in the mid-game. A lot of times when you see a game with a lone Druid and with another late-game hero, hold on, looks like we got a death about to take place. Santiago blinks again. He's going to TP away. Homing missile. No! Whiffs right through where he used to be. That's going to chase him for 18 years, but not going to be enough to get the kill. And donk. But back to Pycat. I love seeing this build on a lone Druid. Oh, FY. Looking for the root. Where's the root? The bear going to be telekinesis. Can they chase him down? He telekinesis him, but he's resummoned. Split Earth catches him as he looks to climb the stairs. No luck for you. As Misery hits another good Split Earth. Love the Zonky, by the way. Pretty sure that guarantees LGD is going to win because the Zonky is the most OP courier in the entire game. Braze the Zonky. Know your courier lore. And LGD ready to take a Roche. But yeah, when you have a lone Druid in a lot of cases, especially when you have another late game oriented hero like a Phantom Lancer handled by CTY and farmed quite well by CTY. He's got 90 last hits in 19 minutes. That's pretty solid. It ain't no 120, and it ain't no 3 tower last hits, but it's okay. But Pycat is just huge right now. Just absolutely massive. Leshrac actually got... I love that they give Leshrac the Aegis there. I absolutely love that they give him that Aegis. It's so smart, because right now, Pycat is feeling invincible. If all the heroes that they're going to focus, if they focus Pycat, chances are that his team's going to clean the fight up anyway. So he's like, that's fine. You can kill me because I'm just that far ahead, and I'm tanky, and I'm doing a massive amount of damage, as is my bear. So it's fine. But a hero like Leshrac, who needs to have longevity in these fights, who only has a bracer and treads, which, I mean, honestly, at 20 minutes is not bad for a Leshrac, especially one who struggled as much as Misery did early on. But just giving that to him to make him basically the silent liability. A hero that can occasionally just find himself blown up due to poor positioning. And a hero who, honestly, when he runs out of mana in this situation, if there's an extended fight and he runs out of mana, he may just suicide just to get the respawn in a fresh mana pool. It makes just so much sense. Phantom Lancer has upgraded his Diffusal Blade. No, actually, he just finished it. I thought he was actually already purchased his upgrade. Never mind. Not in his inventory yet, but he is going to be ready to fight. And now this is where things get a little bit sketchy for LGD. That Diffusal comes out, it's real easy for a Phantom Lancer to just overwhelm you. Especially if you're a target who, like a Leshrac who I just mentioned, who needs his mana to be of any worth in these fights. And if you're unable to stay around the... Like, Leshrac's a challenging hero because he has Splitter, it's a skill shot, that's fine. But his job in a fight is to stay around the periphery of the fight, stay close enough to the enemy to do damage, but far enough away that you don't get caught out. And you also don't want to get kited, so a lot of it has to do with your ability to read enemy movement at all points in a team fight. And a Diffusal makes that real tough to do. They can just focus him down, blow him up, nuke down his mana pool, and all of a sudden Pulse Nova plus Edict is just not that scary. He actually didn't put a single point in the Lightning Storm. I was talking about a skill bit earlier. I don't hate this a bit. I mean, it just comes down to player preference and what your goals are. But I actually really did expect him to put 2 points at most into Split Earth and then focus up Lightning Storm just to make this mid-game push right now that much more potent. But that's a big butt Split Earth. Big old Split Earth. There we go. Illuminate not going to do much right now. LGD just in too good a position. They're going to try to trade a tier 1 for a tier 2. Santiago, by the way, has not had the best game. His inventory is barren. It's like old mother's cupboard. It is barren. And she's down in line at social services office to try and get something going. 5 and 4 for our Shadow Demon. Queen of Pain sitting at 3 and 4. She's gotten her kills, but the thing about a Queen of Pain, and you'll often see this in games of all levels, pro levels all the way down to just, you know, standard matchmaking, is a Queen of Pain can get kills, and she will get her kills if she's played even remotely competently, which certainly Santiago has played a competent, if not the best executed Queen of Pain. But what makes her the hero she is she gets ahead by being able to not just get kills, but to not die. She, at no point should a Queen of Pain have more deaths than she does kills. Even if she's just at 1-0, that is much more preferred to a 3 and 4. And that's the way she has to be played. She's a high-risk, high-reward hero that needs to be played like a surgeon, not a shotgun. And the fact that she has not had a good enough game for that has held her back. She has added that ultimate orb to her inventory. So she is going to be working her way towards a Scythe of Ice, one would imagine. But for the most part, I mean, 100 last hits is great, but she should be in so much better shape than she is right now. And I'm actually a little questioning her choice to go straight Scythe of Ice. I feel like she'd benefit a lot from an early BKB in terms of being able to just up her survivability as it is, especially with a Puck on the field. Puck being where he is with his items, already an ultimate orb of his own, he'll be looking to probably complete a Scythe of Ice, has his Blink Dagger, so he's going to be quite tough to bring down. But his ability to silence out the Queen of Pain if she's caught out of position, and she has no recourse at all. That's tough. It's tough. Illuminate does some damage, and Misery actually eats the majority of it. That's the next to last outer tier tower remaining for them. And LGD has just taken over this map. 100% in their control right now. Santiago is trying to play catch up. He's got 1,000 gold to go along with that ultimate orb. So Podcat's added Vlad's as well. And that just tells you. I mean, you see a Vlad's come out at 23 minutes when he's this far ahead, and he could just instead start banking up for a bigger item. Look to turn that Maelstrom into a Mjolnir if he wants to, or even start putting together an Assault Cuirass, save up for a Hyperstone. Instead of getting a Hyperstone, he opts for the roughly equivalent priced Vlad's. That tells you that he wants to win the game right now. He does not want this game going another 20 minutes. He wants it going another 10 at most. Gyro has completed a BKB of his own. Very important item. For the exact same reasons I had talked about with the Queen of Pain. And the exact same reasons I talked about in Game 1. Basically, he needs to be able to... I mean, Flat Cannon is maxed out. I like the fact... Well, I mean, obviously, what else is he going to do? He's not going to max Homing Missile 9 times out of 10. But... he's, you know, as good as that range is, he is a hero who also wants to get something out of his Rocket Barrage if he can. Having that BKB means he can't be disabled, locked down before he can really run through his skill set. And how spam heavy he is. He's like a Leshrac, just in a very different way. The longer he stays in a fight, the higher your chances of winning are going to go up. He's a hero who likes extended fights. If, you know, he does, I mean, he can blow you up too, make no mistake. 690 pure damage, or not pure damage, I should say magic damage, comes out from max level Rocket Barrage. And then the Flat Cannon, as he begins to add damage items, if he does indeed begin to add damage items next, which one would only imagine he would, make him a gigantic liability for any squishy support. And there are more than a few of those on the side of Vici. And Santiago going to be caught out. Another well-timed splitter as Misery has been money in the bank this entire game. Tier 1 is going to be traded for that. So, not all for lost. CTY, 2,500 gold in his bank, is going to be teleported via the Keeper of the Light. And he will be showing up down near the mid-tower. Just in time for LGD to begin rattling their saber at that piece of real estate. Illuminate, actually, going to catch a lot more than I thought it would. But look at the bear, just look at him chunk this tower. That is one pissed off panda. He's actually got a Hyperstone up now as well. I mean, Pycat's farm has been insane. He has had such a good start. 25 minutes in, 13,000 net worth. And it's not as if the Phantom Lancer has had a bad game. He hasn't. Not at all. 160 last hits at 26 minutes is actually insane. But it ain't no 190. That's where Pycat is. He's just flat out farmed an extremely well-farmed Phantom Lancer, which is no easy task. And not a single outer tier tower remains now for Vici Gaming. All 3 tier 2 towers still stand for LGD. Roshan going to be back up in about 2.5 minutes. The Aegis did fade quite some time ago, so Lesh not going to be able to bank on that. And they may just turtle this out. I wouldn't blame him a bit. Yasha looks to be the pickup. Yasha into perhaps a Manta for Brax as he's added the Blade of Alacrity to his inventory. Vanguard actually picked up on the Clockwork. That's a little surprising to me, actually.
Do it with flair.
Really think they could have benefited from a Pipe in a big, big way. Yeah, Pipe would have been a much better choice, I feel. Because the magic damage output coming out of LGD, both in burst and extended, is nothing to sneeze at, man. Leshrac with Pulse Nova and Edict. And even at this stage, even though we are coming up on 30 minutes, Waning Rift does good damage. I mean, outside of being a fantastic AoE silence, it does pretty good damage, especially to some squishy supports. like the Keeper of the Light and the Rubik, who are the heroes you 9 times out of 10 want to be trying to catch with Waning Rift anyway. But no pipe. Mech done on Fenrir has been done for quite some time. Queen of Pain, 1,800 gold in the bank. And still looking for that elusive Scythe of Ice if she can find it. Scythe of Ice would be a big item for her. Problem is, Puck's going to have his up sooner. And when you, I mean, Scythe is going to be great to lock the Lone Druid down. But Puck with his initiation range is actually going to have a much easier time locking down the Queen of Pain than the Queen of Pain will locking down anybody else. The big thing that VG has going for them, though, I mean, the game is still in range, believe it or not. 10,000, normally I would say that's a big deal. At 28 minutes with a Phantom Lancer on your squad, it's actually not. 1 or 2 big team fight wins, and a Phantom Lancer could spiral completely out of control. And most importantly, they still have all 3 sets of racks up. So long as they keep their racks up, keep their tier 3s together, they're going to be in this game, even though they are behind by 5 digits. But that bear is just monstrous. I mean, look at his inventory. He's just about fully stacked. The Phantom Lancer stacking himself out quite well as well. Looking to get a Manta now, following the completion of Diffusal. And this is a choice that sometimes goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Now, something I haven't talked about, and it's very much worth talking about, is that Phantom Lancer is not hard countered, but he is certainly mitigated by this Shadow Demon. 1437, going to be a very important hero as that Phantom Lancer gets bigger and bigger. His ability to disrupt a Phantom Lancer illusion and get an army of Phantom Lancers fighting on for his own team, going to be very key in pushing into these tier 3s. One of the strengths a Phantom Lancer has, especially a Phantom Lancer who's going to go Manta style, which he just about has done now. Actually, does have done now. It's flying out to him as we speak. But one of the strengths that a Phantom Lancer has against a lineup like LGD has put together, namely a very push-oriented lineup behind that Lone Druid, who is, again, monstrous, is the fact that he's going to be able to use illusion spam both from the Manta and from Spirit Lance and from Doppelwalk to get an army together quickly. And use that as counter push, along with Illuminate from the Keeper of the Light, along with Fade Bolt. I mean, they have a lot of spam. Rocket Flare, they have a lot of things they can do to keep these lanes from pushing in. But with a little RNG luck, a little bit of love from the RNG, 1437, if he steals an illusion and gets some fortuitous procs, will be able to get an army of his own pushing in for him. Now, if you have an army like that with a big-ass bear, a scary, scary panda bear, you're usually going to find yourself in some pretty good shape. What's Pie Guy got on the way to him? That's a fully Sarkirus. Are you kidding me? We're 30 minutes into this game. Look at this bear! Maelstrom. Phase Boots. Assault Cuirass. Armlet. He's just massive. Utterly massive. Manta style is done on the Phantom Lancer. We're about to see the Unstoppable Force meet the Immovable Object. And if ever there was a hero matchup that actually applies to, in more than just a literary sense, it is these two heroes. Lone Druid, this far ahead, tends to just run over anything in his path. Phantom Lancer, you try to push into him, he throws out one Spirit Lance, and before you know it, there's 55,000 of him. The Unstoppable Object, or Unstoppable Force versus the Immovable Object. Brax has added some more items to his inventory. I actually picked up some lifesteal with just the Yasha. I'm a little surprised. I would have thought he would have gone for a pure damage after Yasha or Manta and or both. Here we go. They're going to go for it. Cogs go down. G caught out, but they're going to go ahead to re-engage. God's going to get off a good coil. Has them isolated behind the tower now. The orb stolen on both sides. And we're going to have another hook land, but here comes Queen of Pain. San Diego looking for a target, and he ults right into a BKB Brax. They get the tier 3. Phantom Lancer has yet to really show his presence in this fight. He's hanging around the back. He's got to get involved. Throws out a Spirit Lance. That catches Misery. In the meantime, Puck re-engages. Going to pay the price. He had the Aegis fresh off the most recently killed Roshan. So he's back up and ready to roll. And they're going to rotate straight to the tier 3 mid. They did their dirty business in bottom. They want to close this game out right here and right now. And just look at how hard this Lone Druid is crushing these racks. Melee racks down. I'll tell you what. Immovable Object my ass. Phantom Lancer did nothing. Did nothing in that fight. That's GG. He did nothing. He was not a force to be reckoned with at all. Had no influence to speak of. The Druid farming the well now while the rest of his team brings down the last remaining tier 3. LGD was ahead. He actually manages to hit 1437 from way downtown. Missed his primary target, but managed to hit the target behind him. That's it. That's Megas. I'm a little dumbfounded. LGD was way ahead, but Phantom Lancer should have had a much bigger influence in that fight, and just flat out did not. Brack's a part of that with his flag cannon. 1437, of course, as mentioned, a part of that. But just really beautifully executed fights. I mean, what else can you say? And I have no idea why GG's not called right now. You're not going to come back from Megas against a Lone Druid. It's like not one this big. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. Manta style completed now on Brax. And there it comes. CTY calls it. And we have our first team advancing from Phase 2 into Phase 3 of the G1 League Asia Qualifiers. They go by 3 initials, may actually make it 6. LGD.int, the international squad cobbled together from across 12 time zones, dominating here in Game 1, no matter what time zone you might happen to be in. They go 2-0 over Vici Gaming behind command performances of everyone on the team, really. I could point to every single player on that squad and tell you something amazing, or some huge play, or some huge factor they played in this 2-0 rout that they have just laid upon Vici Gaming. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show, and I hope you're going to stick through for our second series of the day. It's going to be quite a ways out. It's just 4:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time right now. So about 3 hours, actually. And that's just a product of LGD being a little too big and scary. Asian teams, please. Please don't do this. I love you guys. Oh my god, I am so happy to be casting Asian Dota again. But if you call GG, leave the game so I don't have to ramble. Please, goodness. Drives me nuts. But anyway, finally, LGD gonna come close up shop. That bear, man, freaking huge. Actually got a Battle Fury on it. GG Pycat, Battle Fury, Lone Druid, new meta. Pretty please. And this game should be reaching its conclusion, but we'll have our second series of the day coming up in just about 3 hours. That's going to be Zenith taking on the Cinderella story of Phase 2, Neolution Thailand, who put a win on Tongfu mere days ago and playing in arguably the biggest game of their career. The biggest game of their career thus far. Both teams going to be looking to punch their ticket on the way to Phase 3 of the G1 League Qualifiers. One team that already has, again, LGD International rules in a 35-minute game, 19-10 the final kill score, 2-0 the final game score. Vici Gaming takes their exit from this season of the G1 Champions League, and LGD earning their stripes and